The music is loud enough that you have to lean in to hear anything. Someone hands you a drink. Someone else is telling a story about a bonus. A third person is describing a vacation in the kind of detail that only makes sense if the point is the describing. You are at a birthday party for someone you've known for 11 years. There are 30 people here. Most of them are performing something. You can feel it the way you can feel weather changing. The casual mention of the new car, the neighborhood drop, the restaurant name said just slightly louder than necessary. And then there is Marcus. Marcus is in the corner, talking to someone's grandmother about her garden. He is holding a beer he's been nursing for an hour. He is wearing a shirt you've seen before. He drove here in a car that is 7 years old and has a small dent above the rear bumper that he has never fixed. Marcus does not mention money. Not once. Not the whole night. You have known Marcus since college. You have eaten hundreds of meals with him. You have moved apartments with him. You have sat across from him in enough conversations to know what he cares about. And yet, you realize standing in this kitchen at 10:43 p.m., you have no idea what Marcus does with his money. None. You find this, suddenly, very interesting. Level 2. The question. You ask him on a Tuesday. Casual. Coffee. You frame it the way people frame things they actually want to know, but are afraid to ask directly. Hey, do you ever think about, the future stuff? Retirement, investing, all that? Marcus looks at you the way people look when they've been waiting for a question for a long time. Yeah, he says. I think about it a lot, actually. You wait. He talks for 40 minutes. What comes out is not what you expected. There is no system with a name. No guru he follows. No newsletter he subscribes to. No app with a color chart. What Marcus has is something so simple it takes you a moment to recognize it as a strategy. He has been investing 40% of every paycheck since he was 23, automatically, into a low-cost index fund, without watching it, without discussing it. He has never upgraded his car because the car still runs. He has never upgraded his apartment because the apartment is fine. He has never upgraded his phone on the upgrade cycle because the phone still works. He does not think of these as sacrifices. He thinks of them as decisions he made once, a long time ago, that he no longer has to make again. You stir your coffee. You ask him why he never talks about it. Talking about it doesn't make it grow. Level 3. The math. You go home and you do the math. Marcus is 29, same as you. He makes $67,000 a year. You know this because you once helped him negotiate it. You make $71,000. You are, by every visible measure, in the same place. You are not in the same place. At 40% savings rate, Marcus has been investing roughly $26,800 a year since age 23, 6 years of contributions. At the S&P 500's historical average annual return of approximately 10%, his portfolio sits somewhere around $230,000. You have $11,000 in a savings account, earning 4.2% interest that you think of as being responsible. You sit with this for a long time. The number is not what gets you. The number is just a number. What gets you is the time, the 6 years, the group chat about the crypto coin that was going to change everything, the podcast everyone was listening to for 2 weeks, the stock tip passed around at Thanksgiving like a dish nobody wanted but everyone took, the endless performance of financial awareness without financial action. Marcus was not in any of those conversations. Marcus was in his brokerage account, silently, consistently, without an audience. Level 4. The cost of noise. Here is what nobody tells you about financial noise. It feels like education. It arrives dressed as information, the thread about the hot sector, the reel about the investing mistake you're probably making, the 7-part series from the man with the ring light who found the shortcut. You consume it, you feel informed, you do nothing. The cycle repeats. According to a 2023 TIAA Institute study, 53% of Americans rate their financial literacy as high. The actual tested financial literacy of those same Americans tells a different story. People who feel most educated about money are not the people building the most wealth. They are often the people consuming the most content about wealth without converting any of it into action. Marcus does not consume financial content. He made one decision at 23, set it to automatic, and turned his attention to everything else in his life. The people in that kitchen performing their finances are not bad with money because they are careless. They are bad with money because the noise has replaced the action. The conversation about investing has replaced the investing. The awareness of the right thing to do has become a substitute for doing it. Awareness without action is just expensive entertainment. Level 5, the invisible architecture. You start paying attention to Marcus differently, not to his money, to his decisions. He buys a coffee maker instead of a coffee shop habit, not dramatically, not with a speech about lattes and millionaires. He just makes coffee at home because the coffee at home is good, and the math over 10 years is not a small number. He takes lunch to work 3 days a week, not every day, 3 days. He eats out twice a week with people he likes because he has decided those meals matter, and he has removed enough other spending to make them feel light. He has no subscriptions he cannot name off the top of his head. He knows exactly what his fixed costs are, not approximately. Exactly. This is the thing that separates Marcus from everyone else at that party. Not discipline, not sacrifice, not some superhuman relationship with delayed gratification. Clarity. He knows what he spends. He knows what he keeps. He knows what the kept money is doing. And he has built the architecture of his financial life so that the right thing happens automatically, without requiring him to be motivated every month, without requiring willpower, without requiring him to feel like it. The system runs. He lives his life. The gap widens. According to Vanguard's 2023 research on retirement outcomes, the single strongest predictor of long-term wealth accumulation is not investment selection, not market timing, not income level. It is consistent contribution rate. The people who contribute the same percentage automatically, month after month, regardless of market conditions, regardless of mood, regardless of whether anyone is watching. Those are the people who end up with options. Marcus contributes the same percentage automatically every month. You have been meaning to set that up for 4 years. Level 6, the conversation you should have had at 22. You ask Marcus when he figured it out. He tells you about his uncle. Not a rich uncle, not a success story uncle. A retired postal worker in Ohio who drove a used car his entire adult life and died leaving his children a paid-off house and $340,000 in an account nobody knew existed. The funeral was ordinary. The reading of the will was not. Marcus was 19. He sat in that room and watched his cousins try to understand a number that had appeared from nowhere, from a man who never talked about money. From a man who drove used cars and packed his lunch and never once mentioned what he was building. Marcus flew home and opened a Roth IRA with $200. He was 19. The account has had contributions every single month since. You are 29. You are doing the math on what 10 years of contributions would have looked like if you had started at 19. The number is uncomfortable. You do not dwell on it. Dwelling on the past cost of not starting is one of the most expensive things you can do with the present moment. The second best time to start is now. You know this. You have known this, knowing it was never the problem. Level 7, the shift. You open the account on a Thursday evening, not because of an inspiring video, not because the market is up, not because you feel ready. You open it because Marcus's uncle was a postal worker who never talked about money and left his children $340,000. And because the only difference between that story and yours is whether you act on it tonight or keep it in the category of things you mean to do. You set the contribution to automatic, 20%, not 40%. You are not Marcus. You are starting later, and your financial life has more friction in it right now, and 20% is real and sustainable. And you will not talk yourself out of it next month because it was not a number that required heroism to begin. You do not post about it. You do not tell anyone at the next party. You get another drink. You find Marcus. You talk about his grandmother's garden and whether tomatoes are worth the effort and something funny that happened on the way here. And underneath the conversation, quiet and automatic and indifferent to whether anyone notices, something is growing. Level 8, the truth. 3 years later, at another party, someone is explaining an investment opportunity with the energy of someone who has found the thing. You listen politely. You think about Marcus's uncle. You think about the funeral where the money appeared from nowhere like a magic trick, except it wasn't a trick at all. It was 30 years of the same boring, correct decision made quietly in the background of an ordinary life. The loudest people in the room about money are almost never the ones with the most of it. The ones with real wealth have a composure you used to mistake for disinterest. It is not disinterest. It is the specific calm of someone who made their decision a long time ago and no longer needs to convince anyone, including themselves, that it was right. The results are doing the convincing, in silence, in a brokerage account, in a number growing in the background while the party continues and the music stays loud and everyone performs the version of themselves they need the room to see. You check your account when you get home, not anxiously, just to see. The number is not impressive yet, but it is pointed in the right direction, and it did not require you to say a single word about it to anyone. That, it turns out, is the whole lesson. The people who talk about money the least are often building the most, and the people who are building the most are not waiting to feel ready or inspired or informed enough by the next piece of content. They made one decision. They made it automatic, and they turned their attention back to everything else that makes a life worth living. You turn off your phone. You go to sleep. In the background, completely without your help, the number grows. Subscribe. The next one is already waiting.